welcome to the show. My guest today is Michaela Wardley, and Michaela is the Oceania Coaching, Teaming and Mediation Leader at EY here in Sydney. Hi, Michaela. How are you?
I'm good, Claudia. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, lovely to see you. I'll give a quick introduction and tell people a little bit about your background. Michaela and I share the love of coaching, especially regarding leadership development, behavioral change for high performance in leadership. And Michaela is especially passionate about leadership of the future. We have worked together on a number of executive coaching assignments, and we can talk about coaching for hours. We're that passionate about it, right?
Right.
We also both like to challenge the status quo to improve lives for our clients as well as for ourselves. And Michaela, or Misha, as most people call her, holds a bachelor in business administration and started her career in EY in Stuttgart, Germany, where she grew up. And recently, she's also a qualified mediator. So, hi, Misha. Welcome to the show. Great to have you as my guest today. And let's start with my first question for you. In the field that you're working, or maybe just in general, what are the challenges that you see and what opportunities do you take from there?
Yeah. I guess the challenges that I see is in times of a crisis, especially to the extreme that we've experienced it, I think people probably don't necessarily think about themselves or their self-development in the first instance. So, what we've seen is a lot of leaders and a lot of teams and individuals just focusing on, making the situation work, make sure you're okay, you do what's required of you. So that has had an impact on the coaching work, the high-performing teaming work that we usually offer. So we really had to look at how do we stay relevant, and I think that's one of the greatest challenges for a lot of people and a lot of functions, as well as one of the greatest opportunities. Really thinking through, with the experience, the capability that we have, how can we be of best service at the moment? How can we stay relevant? How can we stay important? And and that's what we had to focus on for our function.
Yeah, and I can imagine it's not an easy feat to adjust and adapt in these times.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Definitely not, because you really have to think on your feet. You have to think fast. You just have to put yourself out there. And for us, it was really mainly thinking through, how can we support our leaders in the best possible way during this time? Because how a company has engaged and managed their staff will be most important as we come out of this. People will remember that. And so therefore we thought, how can we best support our leaders to do that in an authentic way, in a genuine way, but also in the most effective way.
How do you increase your thinking power to be creative, and how do you focus?
I think it's quite challenging at the moment. As for most people, I'm also in the situation of having a 6-year-old that needs to be homeschooled and a 3-year-old that has no schooling agenda. But I guess for me personally, a level of stress definitely helps to get me focused. But also really thinking about, what's going on for me right now? What's happening for me? How can I be at my best? How can I focus on the things that are important and really give it my best shot? And also acknowledging, I think, that we all distracted a little bit in some shape or form, whether you have kids at home or partners or pets. We've recently threw a puppy in the mix to top it off. So, it's really important to think through what works for me, what do I need, and how do I focus on the things that are most important now.
Yes, I can imagine that's a lot to juggle, but it's so great to acknowledge that these are not normal times and that you have a bit compassion for yourself and for others as well. And so when you think about those things, reinventing yourself to adapt to these times or going forward, how does it look like for you?
Well, for me personally, and it was in the context of really reinventing my offering and that of my team. Thinking through what are our experiences, our skills, and how can we be most impactful, what's most useful for us to do. And yeah, it's been really important to think through, going back to the basics and really thinking through how can we do this, but also I think thinking fast and just putting yourself out there has been a real challenge. I'm personally a perfectionist. I usually do things properly and then I tell people that I can do that. So this has been very different. You know, you really need to think on your feet. You almost have to become entrepreneurial, and then you just have to trust your experience, your capability, and just kind of push fear aside a little bit. And just go for it and make it up as you go. See what's needed, see what's relevant, and then focus your efforts on what's most appropriate.
Yes, and would you say that the needs have changed much, or in any way?
The needs for our people and for our clients.
Yeah.
Yes, I do think they have changed. You definitely can tell that most people do actually think about their personal needs more as they have to. I think actually that's been a really good shift, getting people to really, especially in the coaching sessions, but also in the team effectiveness space, you know, really thinking that through. What do I need? What works for me? What doesn't work for me? What do others need? And just bring that personal note into the conversation has been really good. It has taken coaching conversations, I think, to the next level, and also being invited into people's homes through video has definitely made a difference. Yeah, so I think people have changed more to the ensuring that you're okay and that others are okay as well.
So when you think of adapting to those needs and also looking at your own fears of how to reinvent yourself, what risks are you willing to take?
As I said, I'm a perfectionist, so I have to take the risk of not knowing what exactly my offering is going to look like, not knowing exactly how it's going to work, not knowing that it's tried and tested, and how it's going to be perceived. So that's been challenging. But I'm a big fan of Brené Brown, and you know, when she talks about the Theodore Roosevelt, the Man in the Arena speech, you know, that's something that I've really tried to embrace more. You know, if you don't show up and if you don't step into the arena and you, as she said, or he says, you know, you get your face marred with dirt and dust, then you know you can't come out and can't come out the other side, and you can't truly experience what achievement looks like. So yeah, I've tried to embrace that.
And going forward in your role to the new normal, whatever that might be, how do you see that?
Look, I think we will see a number of changes. I think we will, going forward, see a lot more of a remote workforce. And I think it's really been great in terms of flexibility. You know, people really have experienced what that looks like. We can work differently, we can work more virtually. But I also think a lot of people have started to reflect on the learnings from this, what's worked for them, what have been the benefits of this, but also what have been the challenges and the constraints in this, and how do I take this into my working life and my personal life going forward.
Well, thanks so much for sharing your wisdom, Misha. It was really great to talk to you, and thanks for being on the show.
My absolute pleasure. It's always great to talk to you and to reflect on what's going on in our world of coaching and leadership development.
Yes, and looking forward to keep that up with you. Thank you so much, and thanks everyone for joining us, and I hope to see you soon next time on the Shiftability Show. In the meantime, keep focusing, keep shifting, and I see you next time. Bye.